night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. Hey, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
What is going on, Hive? We are having the first ever live stream on X right now because of being put into YouTube jail last night. Got the audio coming in loud and clear. I'm excited. Couple differences that you guys are going to notice is that I can pin the comments on the screen still, but what I cannot do is type into my own chat. For some reason, the interface on X, it's like one of the only platforms where I cannot sit back here and type and then put my own comment up on the screen. However, I can still see your guys' comments and I can put them right up on the screen just like this. So thank you to everybody that is showing out right now and coming to support and tuning in. I see a lot of familiar names and I appreciate it. And I appreciate you all working through this with me. Slight hiccup, but I do believe that we are going to come out better because of it, because now we got a fail safe with X. So I'll be cross streaming every platform. So if you like X better, you can tune in here. Or if you like YouTube better, you can tune in just like normal. And there's a lot of people that I feel like did that. So thank you, Big Red, and thank you to everybody else who did that and created an X account just to be tuning in. So what up, Luna, Marta, Luna again, new place, same faces. That's exactly right. What up? What up? How you doing, Kennedy? E. Kennedy, War Eagle. What's up, Laura? MLC 496. LFG is right. What's going on, Mary and Monique? Amanda the Panda, Rebecca. What's up, Mrs. Birdie? Free Birdie, yeah. Birdie and the hizzy. I agree. Free Birdie. You guys are going to be pretty mind blown too with what I show you. I don't know how I didn't realize this when I made that video. I got done making the video explaining why I thought I was in YouTube jail. It's not what I thought it was. I'll tell you that much. I appreciate that, Karen. Rebecca. Oh no, my real name. No, not an NPC. Not an NPC. These are extremely important conversations. It is funny. I might not recognize everybody's usernames. Shoe girl, what up? What up? FUCKSECED. Oh yeah, absolutely, in all caps. Took me a second there, Mitty Witty. What's up, Discord Don, X Don, YouTube Don. Don wears all the hats. I appreciate you. What up, Angie? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to go over that, and I think actually that's a good spot to start. I'll give people a couple more minutes to tune on in here. Well, I don't believe that it was even the words that got me reported. I think there is something that it's one of two things. It's either exactly what we suspected, which is the algorithm got a little bit more strict. However, when I show you guys the next slide, and I think I was just so flustered when the live shut down, as that's the reason why I went to YouTube, was to not have that shit happen. I mean, it was getting out of control on TikTok. I went over to TikTok after that, and I had the clown horn within 10 minutes into the mic, just absolutely going bananas on people. I can't take TikTok is just it's a different world. I'm convinced that it's like a fake app. I think it's a fake app. Unless you see somebody posting like a first person video, I'm convinced that 98% of the comments are fake people. And then you end up arguing with bots, which is probably what they want. And they got a good crash out of me last night. Excuse me. So, yeah, I see it. There's a couple people in there. It ended up with me talking about how some people are so gullible enough that I'm surprised I didn't say that 9/11 was a lone wolf narrative. And we'll leave it at that, because there's probably some people that would have believed the official story saying that one guy flew 3 planes. And yeah, thank you, Bunny Murphy. I appreciate that. I saw that when I ended the live. Thank you so much. And everybody that has donated or given a super chat, super sticker, some sort of gift on TikTok. As you all know, I keep all the lives free. I will never charge for the streams. The only way that I would is if I have to do some sort of like members only where it's going to be gory and whatnot. But to be honest, I don't know if I even need to do that. I personally would rather not put up any sort of roadblock to have people tune in and be amongst like-minded people. You guys all know that there's no rules really in the chat outside of trolling and making threats. So that those same rules apply. And I got this damn eyelash on the side of my eye here. You guys see me messing with that. All right, we're good. So we're obviously going to be talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination tonight. I have fired a blank, and then I have a smash handheld with a question mark. And I got to give a shout out to the folks on Discord that are diving deep, whether it have been the Idaho 4 case, whether now it's the Charlie Kirk assassination. With how much information is out there on both of those things, the Discord has been an unbelievable resource for myself with preparing the streams at night. So I always try to give credit, whether I'm showing another creator's video, whether it's somebody and their username in the Discord. So I'm going to obviously keep doing that. But this is what I wanted to talk about. So you guys, if you're here, most likely you saw my update on the channel about I'm in YouTube jail. And I thought it was because I showed a firearm discharging, because it says content featuring firearms policy, right? But what's interesting is the timestamp that it got me at. This was minutes before I actually showed the Mauser firing on the range at a target of another creator whose video, might I add, is still up on YouTube. So that didn't make any sense. It made no sense. This is the photo They flagged this photo. They flagged it at 34 minutes and 57 seconds. You can see it here. They flagged this photo. So now one of two things happened. Either this photo is being heavily censored and redacted, which makes no sense to me because everybody saw that shit on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Everybody's pointing that out. Or some D-bag was out there mass reporting it. Those are the only two things that I can think about. And what I've learned with the firearm policy is that after doing some research, YouTube will err on the side of caution if somebody is intentionally reporting it on either nudity or firearms. So you guys tell me what you think it was, because this makes absolutely no sense to have gotten that flagged. And I'm pissed about it, to be honest. But whatever. Because here I am trying to be like understanding, like, oh, that's my mistake. That's my mistake. This is not anything that I should have ever gotten a live cut for. Ever. Yeah, probably. So I don't want to crash out over it because honestly, it's fine. It worked out. We got a good amount of people here in the Hive. And I can obviously then download this video and make a quick cut of it and still be posting and uploading videos themselves. So there is a rule on the live streams of YouTube, as I said, if you are a creator, or if you have any other creators that you guys follow that are going to be showing firearms, no matter what, on a live stream YouTube handle, and I talked with somebody live on their like creator support chat. YouTube's algorithm will always treat it the same way if you are live streaming, whether you're holding the firearm in your hand or whether you're showing a firearm on stream of another creator. The algorithm treats it the same. When you upload the video and you have, an age restriction and education and whatever purposes only, it won't flag it. But for a live, it's strict. So I digress. Moving on. If you have not hit the subscribe button over on YouTube, when you go back over there, please do. But here on X, I'm obviously trying to now grow this account. And so just click follow. I'm not doing the subscription thing. I am paying for that blue check mark thing because there's extra benefits that I get with that as far as kind of pushing this out into the algorithm. So I'm going to do that here as I am starting on X. And also then it allows you all to know that this is the real profile for me. And so nothing changes with the other apps, obviously now, except we have this platform. So I would say my top three are going to end up being YouTube and X and then Discord. So those three would be the top ones. Obviously, give me a follow on TikTok, Substack, Facebook, and Instagram if you're on those. That way you can send it to your overly fluoridated pineal gland NPC friends that call you crazy. And this is a good time probably for my disclaimer. And that is that the Hive Mind, this is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to think past the headlines. So if you're easily offended or rattled on behalf of others, this will not be the stream for you. However, if you like to look past the headlines, you see through the mainstream media's bullshit, and you're known as the conspiracy theorist in your friend group, you've found your people, you're amongst friends, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in this Friday evening. Now, this is the Discord question of the day. This comes from Care Bear. Everybody's been talking about this dude. And I think a lot of people write this off. Now, I'm not making any accusations at all. But when I first saw this, full transparency, I thought to myself, what the F is a palm gun? I'd never heard of it before. Have you guys? Because I'm thinking like, okay, that's weird. He's like tugging at his shirt and the sound lines up. And I've said this in the past, these people that are behind him, if a shot came from behind you, I'm trying to put myself there. If a shot came from behind me, I would go like this. If a shot came from in front of me, I'd probably jump like that. Everybody that's standing around this dude jumps like this. You don't see one person do that. It's all back. So to me, even if he's not firing anything, it tells me that the shot most likely when you naturally instinctively jump, right? There's something in you where your reflexes get away from it. So that's my take on it. Now, I have, because of this question of the day and knowing that X is a little bit looser with what they allow you to say, I went pretty deep on this Discord question of the day. So I have a few slides that are prepared with it. And I'm going to go ahead and talk you all through this, and I want to get your thoughts on it. And before I do, actually, let me put some comments up on the screen just so I can, again, get used to this new layout with X here on the back end side of it. What are your guys' takes on, like, give me your general thoughts on this dude? Sus? Not sus? Sink shot? What do you guys think? And sus AF, sus. Everyone's typing sus. Loud. Oops. Loud. Sus. Well, the Hive is not afraid to say what they think. Yeah. Well, see, Angie, and I've heard that a lot, and we can dive into that too. I saw a really good video breaking down the type of mic that Charlie wears that looks like it, but definitely weirder things have happened than that. Right. And that's what a lot of people that know weapons say. However, I'm going to show you guys some videos. So, okay. It's good to know that the majority of people think that something is sus. Now, I want to talk about that because Angie brought up a good point about the body armor. I thought that initially too. You could see like the outline of his nipple in the white shirt. And by the way, I don't have any slides prepped on this, but I need to talk about this because I saw this a couple hours ago and I'm just now remembering it. If you go back and you look at every single one of Charlie Kirk's events, do you know that this is the first time that this dude like wore a white shirt, a white, like to the Turning Point college debates? Every other time he's in navy or he's in black or he's in a different color. And I don't know why, but to me, I'm like, that is kind of weird that this is like the only time he's wearing a white t-shirt. I don't know if that's anything. I'm not trying to sound like I'm digging into something that's nothing. I just find it very weird. It's a white shirt that says freedom. Most times he's in, some sort of Turning Point, darker clothing. And I feel like most people, like, what you feel, the whole like look good, feel good, play good, right? You think you look good in dark colors or light colors or whatever. And I would guess that when you're going in front of that many people, and for God's sakes, what did the dude get? Like 2 billion views on TikTok? I had no idea that he was like, I think he was the #1 viewed account on TikTok. I had no idea. I would have never guessed that. Like Charlie Kirk was the #1 creator, I'm pretty sure statistically, on TikTok, or he was way up there. But I did watch the Candace. I watched part of Ian Carroll. I didn't even know that dude had a stream on YouTube unless he just started. And he kind of had a take of like, I'm not getting into the whole Candace and Charlie and Tucker and PBD and all that. He's like, I'm just some dude on the sidelines. And when he said that, I thought to myself, obviously on a much smaller scale, that's what we all are. We're just people on the sidelines. We can speculate all we want. We can speculate all we want. It's okay. So I'm going to dive into what I have prepared here, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Now, I have a what I would deem an educational video, and this is for educational purposes only. And I want to show you guys this. Let me pull this up here in YouTube. show you guys this because this is interesting. Okay.
It started. Okay, first I'm just going to shoot it and see what that's like. So I have never fired this thing before. So this should be interesting. I feel like loading it is a little sketchy because you really got to watch that barrel because it's so short. But I guess it's good that it has so many safeties. Maybe that's why it has so many safeties. Now I'm just going to
listen to the noise
take a
it
shot
makes.
with it. This is a 124 grain full metal jacket. All right, here we go. Pushing the red button in 3, 2, 1. Oh! 3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh! Red button in 3, 2, 1.
I don't know.
Oh!
So when I saw that, I'm not gonna lie. Even this video title, which this video is from Kentucky Ballistics, they actually have some really cool stuff. The title of the video is "The Palm Pistol: Gimmick or Legitimate." I don't know about you all, but when I saw that the first time, I'm like, damn, that is definitely not some novelty type gun. That'll mess you up. I don't want to stand in front of it. So for everybody saying like, no way, I'm like, I can tell you what it's not. It's not a 30-06 round. Go look up. Well, again, viewer discretion. If you do this, go look up what a deer looks like when it's shot with a 30-06. Just go look up like what the exit wound would look like on that. I mean, I'm telling you that Charlie Kirk would have been 3 feet off his chair. Now this, if it's not an exit wound, which again, I'm not some big time hunter. Okay. I've gone to the range a bunch. I'm not a big hunter at all. So that's my disclaimer. So if there are any hunters in here, my question is this: how often when you're shooting a deer does the round get stuck inside of it? Okay, I don't know. Obviously, I feel like the stopping power, the size of the round is going to play a huge role in that. If the bullet, depending on the make of the round, and is it gonna split open and like hollow tips? Who knows? There's a lot of different technology in the rounds and what it'll do when it hits something. Now, yes, and this video, that's the Marine sniper, right, Jacqueline? So, anyways, that video is good. I think it's only available on X. I was gonna show it. It's a 28-minute video, but I got a lot of stuff tonight. That might be something that I do tomorrow. Which, by the way, I will be streaming tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, right here on X. Just going to make a note of that. I'm going to keep my same schedule that I would over on YouTube. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, I'll be here in the Hive over on X. And I appreciate that, K Wolf. You are one of many, it seems. So thank you guys. Now, I'm going to go back to what I have prepared next. And I don't know how many people have seen this angle. This angle is compelling as fuck. It really is. This is the angle that made me pick this question of the day and the reason why I'm going so hard on this damn palm gun. Okay. I want you guys to watch this and tell me if this doesn't raise your eyebrows a little bit more, if you were a little bit skeptical about a palm gun. Really, Birdie? A palm gun? Well, you just saw the video of the dude firing it. I don't want to stand in front of that. Nobody would. And I want you to watch this now.
Violence. Gang violence.
Okay, I'll play that again.
Gang violence. gang violence.
Oh shit.
Gang violence.
Tell me you don't see a little projectile right here.
Gang violence.
Right? I don't know how many people have seen that angle. That is, the sound is synced up perfectly. Yeah. Right. I mean, it's so again, I don't know, but then wait till I show you. I'm going to play this one more time. There's some people that are saying replay it, so I'm going to play it again.
Gang violence. Gang violence.
Tell me if you don't see some dust come out of it too. Like, and again, I feel like I see something in this dude's fingertips.
Gang violence. Gang violence.
Fuck. Damn it. I'm going to go here so I can zoom in.
Gang violence. Gang violence.
I don't know. To me, it's compelling. So now you guys want to see the real mindfuck? And again, I'm sorry for cussing. I don't know how else to explain this. The same dude is then leading him to the car. So what is going on here? It's only a matter of time too before people start playing around with these videos. And Savvy Rooster, I got you. That's like the second half of this stream. I don't know if you tuned in for the title, but I put that on the thumbnail. But I don't know what's going on here. But I can tell you that it's very coincidental. It's very odd. It's weird. Whatever word you want to use for it. That we just watched that angle. We've all seen the front angles. And now this dude is running him to the car. So let's call a spade a spade. This has got to be one of two things. One of three things. What do you guys think? Name out what you think this could mean. And this is why I want to continue to keep the Hive involved, even though I can't type out. But I'll tell you mine. This is either an inside job, meaning it was orchestrated from people close to Charlie, at least playing a role in it. Or, again, just being people on the sidelines. If this is meant to be, who knows? I don't even know how to put it into words. I'm going to be honest. It feels weird even saying it out loud. I think everybody knows what I'm saying. It feels weird saying it out loud. I don't even know if I want to, but I can't be the only person thinking it. So, I saw that. I'm just like, you got to be shitting me. And Dawn, yeah, that sounds good. I just got that, Dawn. That sounds good. So, right. I mean, he was itching an itch or pushing his sleeve up at the same time. I mean, again, I don't know if he's holding it right here. Who knows? I feel like who knows the skill you could have. Right? I mean, the other thing, and I've talked about this. I've made a video. I've tried to show it clearly. I'll zoom out and make this full screen. I thought this right here, I know it's blurry. This is his right ear. This is right side. Okay. Again, I'm not familiar with triaging a gunshot wound, but if all the blood was coming from the left side, can somebody tell me the reason why you would have to be holding somebody right here? No, and you're good, Angie. That's fine. Yeah. It's just this is again, that's what the Hive is for. If you're brand new to the Hive, this is a contrarian thinking live stream. How does any one of us expect to be right in this cluster? Right? This is what they do. They flood you with information, they dilute the narrative, they run circles, they talk in circles, they purposely misdirect. And right, I think 1111 hit the nail on the head there. There's zero logical answer to this stuff. I do not have I used to have an email that I would let people send me Hive Mind finds to until some little scumbag, I don't even know if they were in the Hive or they tuned in, hacked my PayPal. And I don't even, whatever, long story, but I have the Discord. So the Discord is in my YouTube channel bio. That's what I would recommend. And so anyways, I just think this is very odd that the same dude that might be a little bit sus, and also they're holding his right side ear. Now, moving on to the Hive Mind finds, I have a couple that I just put in myself from the stream that got me in YouTube jail last night that I'm going to show you all, but then I have a couple other from the Hive in the Discord. This first one, Savvy Rooster, Jesus H. In general, whether it have been the Idaho 4 case, whether it's the Long Island serial case, whether it's now the Charlie Kirk murder, whether it was 9/11 and looking into it back in the day, the Vegas shooting, whatever it is, you know what the takeaway is that actually ends up hurting all these powers that be when people like myself and people like you all dig into it? Well, we learn shit that we never probably expected to learn. There would be no other reason for us to even come across this unless our spidey senses start to go off and we start to feel like these people are lying to us. And what could it have been? And you just start going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And next thing you know, you have a Discord set up with Hive Mind Finds, and you're hosting a stream called the Hive Mind because you want people to have a place where they're not shamed, shunned, blocked for having a different opinion than the news, or doesn't matter if you disagree, which is what this has turned into, and it's incredible. And in that, you have Savvy Rooster sending you a TikTok from a gentleman named Toy Soldier 1988 or 1985 talking about a Smash handheld. Let me play this video for you guys.
I had intended to make a longer video with like screenshots and explaining this, but after receiving a couple more like strikes and an account ban warning, I'm just going to say this. We know the who, we know the why, we don't know the how or what they used, right? Go look up Smash handheld. I dug into this deep last night, and when you read what that does and how it's used or how it works and who uses it, you'll have your answer. So I'm going to be emailing Candace Owens with all of this and sending her that information. But go look it up. Smash handheld.
So it's Toy Soldier 1988, I believe. Now I went and I looked this up, and let's read about it a little bit, shall we? So Smash handheld. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you guys. So Smash handheld in Hebrew, right? Pigeon is a high-tech fire control system developed by the Israel-based company Smart Shooter. The device is an external add-on solution that can be installed to most existing firearms. The Israel Defense Force praised the technology and described the device as, quote, groundbreaking after its successful use in the Gaza war, claiming that it quadruples the forces. chances of hitting their target, and thousands of it have already been used by the soldiers in the Gaza Strip. In 2011, Smart Shooter raised $20 million in seed venture funding. Now, what's interesting is that when it's installed on an assault rifle, it uses an advanced AI-powered machine vision to assist in aiming shots more precisely. The dual-core computer with ballistic processing can recognize, track, and engage aerial drones and ground targets with precision. It is currently in use by Israel, the UK, the USA, and India, and other countries. It consists of a digital camera, a display for the shooter, a trigger guard, and a firing computer capable of locking onto a moving target, analyzing its speed and environmental conditions, meaning distance, wind, humidity, and estimating when and how a bullet fired by the shooter will hit the target with 95% probability. Smash locks on the target and tracks its movement to synchronize the shot release. I'm going to read that again. Smash locks on the target and tracks its movement to synchronize the shot release. How many rumors have we heard about a sync shot? Now, I'd be curious. I don't know if they would ever put this out on Wikipedia, but is it far-fetched to think that you couldn't control multiple smash mechanisms on multiple guns with one computer? Because I personally believe that that would be a miss in the design function if you didn't have that capability. Right? That would be a miss. That seems like an engineering miss if you don't have the ability to sync up multiple devices. I feel like almost everything you can sync multiple devices to. Back with Bluetooth, you can have multiple speakers all sync up all throughout your house. So it'd be odd if something that they're saying quadruples the force in the Gaza war or whatever, wherever else it's used, wouldn't be able to do that. I think that'd be a fair statement to make. When the computer identifies such a hit probability, it sends a signal to the shooter, marking with a red dot or a red cross on the sight display to allow for accurate aiming. The trigger guard prevents firing. The trigger guard prevents firing when the computer estimates a low chance of hitting the target. The sight's camera also records the shooting, allowing for operational investigation when necessary. So this shit's all recorded too. Which I mean, I don't think that is brand new technology. I feel like hunters have had that. I'm sure the military's had that for quite some time. I've seen it even in like airsoft battles. But I want you guys to see this. This is crazy. So they're controlling it with a handheld device. I mean, this is crazy. Look at the trigger guard. So I'm not saying even that this is what is used. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, holy shit, there's some like movie type technology that's out there. You could what's that movie? Speaking of movies, what is the movie where they have the sniper set up in the window and they're controlling it with the computer, and I think Mark Wahlberg's in it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? It's not Shooter. It's a different one where they like, or is it Shooter? Is it Shooter? Yeah, it is Shooter. And they frame him, and then he said he switches out the firing pin so that they couldn't frame him and all that stuff. Yeah, great movie. Shooter is one of those movies, when you see it on TV, doesn't really matter. If you're planning on watching something else, I at least personally stop, and I have to watch like 3 minutes of it. I think it's a phenomenal movie. Or is it Gerard? No, I thought it was Mark Wahlberg. Or is it whatever? There's probably a lot of movies out there like that. Law Abiding Citizen's great. That's another great one. So that was super wild. Let me get to the next slide here. Now, this is where the YouTube got cut off last night. And I want to reiterate this point. Tell me how this video was taken. And rather than going and getting help, I'm not saying that it's not okay to take your phone out and record it. But it's like, did they go and tell somebody? Like, are there any reports of somebody saying like, hey, yeah, this dude, the dude that posted the video, like he went, he alerted the police officers? Well, I'm sure in a crowd of 3,000 people, maybe it was a little bit hard to find a police officer, seeing how they only had 6 cops for 3,000 people. There was no ambulance there. They said they had plainclothed officers. And I think Charlie had 3 or 4 people on his security team. So conservatively, you got 9 or 10 people, depending on how many plainclothes officers, even if you had 20 for 3,000 people. I don't know what cops usually do, but I guess I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised, kind of like, I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback it. I'm not in law enforcement. I'm not in military. I feel like I would be surprised even just to hear 6 cops at an event that nothing happened with 3,000 plus people. So I don't know. And that's what I always thought too. Like, I've always thought, just knowing what I know about like hosting events and stuff, I thought that there's like I don't know if it's called the fire code. I thought there had to be something there. What up, soy sauce? Welcome to the Hive. Or if you have been in the Hive and this is a different username, thanks for tuning in. Is there anybody that is in the Hive now that has never seen this stream until we came to X? If you are brand new, can you please type a 1 into the chat? I'm curious to see. And well, yeah, so this, Scotty, this is, I don't know if you were in the beginning of the stream. This is the picture that ended up getting me banned. I'll show you guys that photo. I go back to this. 3457. That's what they kicked me off for. So I don't know if it was reported or what, but that was odd. And my point was, I just do not understand how nobody is saying anything. And it's like, again, I'm just pointing, like, we have to point out patterns at a certain point as well, right? At the Trump shooting, people see somebody on the roof. They made more of a commotion from what I saw in those videos of saying, hey, there's a guy on the roof. There's a guy on the roof. We still got the shot off. Like, what is it about people seeing people on the roof? And where are the like Overwatch people? There was drones there. You can't tell me there wasn't drones there either. If you've looked through a bunch of footage, I'm promising you that there were drones in the sky. They catch them. They're flying fast as hell. People have caught multiple drones. With an event like that, there had to, I would guess, if I had to bet, I would say there's like 90% odds that a drone would be in the air just for social media, even, not just security purposes. I don't know how you have Charlie Kirk sitting in a fishbowl, and it could be any prominent figure. Doesn't matter what side they're on. How do you not have security up on the roof? I think the only time that I saw something was blocked off was there was caution tape where all those kids were chanting that would have kind of been behind him. They caution taped it off to where they would have been like directly behind him or above him. That's the only like limited space that I've seen where they couldn't go. So yeah, and Shoe Girl, that's like a big question, right? Don't get me wrong, I love to wear my tinfoil hat. We can go down a bunch of rabbit holes. I do not have an answer for this question. Right off the jump, there were so many people saying this was fake, this was fake, this was fake. And I don't think that the narrative really helped play or like put those fires out. I think at some point the narrative actually fanned that fire of, well, we are not going to trust what you're saying, and now we're going to think way crazier because you're lying to us. I cannot believe that Candace Owens, like, think of how crazy this is. Candace Owens, whatever you might think about what she says in general, right? Whether you agree with X, Y, or Z, I don't need to say that shit, but because this point is what I think is more important. Clearly, she's got a massive platform. Massive platform. When I got off the live stream to start making these slides, there was, I want to say, like 130,000, 120,000 people watching her live stream on YouTube. Okay, like Jimmy Kimmel, and I agree with Candace on that. I mean, this is a free speech country, whether you thought it was tasteful or not. I mean, I feel like there's plenty of worse shit that was said than that. I don't know if people agree with me on that or not, but in general, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel's only getting 120 something thousand. That's Jimmy Kimmel compared to Candace Owens over on YouTube. The point I'm trying to say is you have somebody with that much pull that just goes on there and, you know, flat out says it. I don't trust the feds. You shouldn't either. Give me the footage. And I was like, damn. And I thought to myself, that's probably true. When it comes to full transparency and open source on something that is this dramatic, it's probably true. You probably shouldn't give it to the feds. Only to the feds, rather. Maybe make a couple copies of that, give it to some people you trust, and encrypt it. She had 300,000 in the live the other day. Jesus. Wow. That's crazy. Right. I agree. Dude, and that's the thing. Has anybody felt a little bit of a shift? And this is probably the most political that I'll get. If you're on the right or if you're on the left, try to answer this truthfully. Did a little aspect of, wow, this has gone too far, creep into your mind? Like you can't stand what this guy stands for. But this is way too far, because I feel like I've heard a decent amount of comments of people that are like, I can't stand him, but that doesn't mean he deserves to get shot in the neck in front of his wife and kids, and have millions of people all around the world view him taking his last moments before he dies. Right? I mean, I don't think there's any trust in the political climate here in America anymore. I don't think there is. I don't think on a massive scale. I think there is a giant, what's a good way to put it? There's a giant mirage almost that makes us feel like there still might be a lot of trust because of the way the media continues about their day, because of the way that the politicians continue about their day, because of the way that celebrities do and what they say. But the people like me, people like you, I don't think there's that much trust. And amen to that, rightfully so. And UK Karen's in the house. You're saying in the UK as well. I would probably guess it's all over the world, you know. And I gotta tell you, it is pretty remarkable because we are a free speech country. And well, in 11/11, you make a good point. If he wanted out of politics, was this the only way? Maybe. I'll ask a question that I asked last night that didn't really get the ability to answer it because they ended the stream. There's only one reason that if you're going to take out Charlie Kirk, you do it in the manner you did it. Is that a fair statement to make? There is only one reason that you go about an assassination in public in that manner, and that is to send a message. You can't tell me powers that be, the rumors, or at least the rumblings, not even rumors, the rumblings of, oh, this was Israel, or oh, this was because of Ukraine and the funding and all that stuff. If you were just collectively bottle that up, you can't tell me that there's not a discreet way to make it happen. But no, they chose to assassinate him in front of 3,000 people on a college campus And can we also talk about something that is very, very interesting? Does anybody find it odd that the social media platforms let us see that so many times? They let us see that. I got kicked off of YouTube last night for this picture. But they are letting us see Charlie Kirk's neck explode. Now, I have to ask, why would the platforms let us and allow us to see that for as long as we did? Again, I think there's one or two reasons. The obvious one is they wanted us to. Could be to cause, and under that same umbrella of wanting us to, I would say is causing civil unrest and more division, anger. Or two, has anybody thought about, are they desensitizing us? Is that what that is? Because I'll refer to one of the guests that I typically have on Thursday nights, Sammy T Mafia. She wasn't able to be on that stream last night, which is probably good because it would have been pointless because we got cut off after 30 minutes, but she was at the Bills game. And are they desensitizing us? Because there are people that probably just saw a man die on camera for the first time. Her 13-year-old daughter sent her a Snapchat of it. Now, why the hell would an algorithm push that to a 13-year-old? Why? Like, that's what I'm saying. They don't let us see so many things that are not nearly as graphic, that are not nearly as gory. Quite frankly, they don't belong on social media. It's like they pick and choose what they would allow us to see, and this was one of them. Now, I believe that there's an aspect of both of those things: civil unrest, division, and desensitizing us. Is that how you would say it? Desensitizing. Yes. And I'd be curious. I don't even want to say it. I hope that this never happens again to anybody. But it's just you can get on a train that is about to go full speed off a cliff when you really just think about what just happened and how quickly they pushed it out, and then they lied to all of our faces. Here's another interesting thing that I saw that I was going to show everybody last night. Has anybody seen this video? What kind of badge does that look like? And if you have not seen the video, it's hard to find. I was just able to grab screenshots of it, but this gentleman was in the crowd. Again, probably one of the plainclothes police officers, but there's like 4 or 5 guys here that all kind of look the same. They all kind of look like Fed boys. And does that look like a marshal badge to anybody? That is top dog comment. That's hilarious. Officer Doofy. Looks like Officer Farva too, kind of, not to be disrespectful. Obviously, I don't know this gentleman, and it is odd. Like, did he just forget that he had his badge front and center in his pocket? Angie, your husband says that's a marshal badge. Now, again, I always get a little bit, my like alert kind of heightens whenever I hear that there's a marshal somewhere. And to explain this photo, these guys are standing in a line, and the dude with the camera walks by and he's filming them, and he goes, and he puts it in his pocket. He just shakes his head, and I'm kind of grinning like, damn, you just saw that, didn't you? That's what it seems like. So he actually takes it off completely and he puts it into his pocket, which I guess I'm not that surprised if he's a plainclothed officer and he's in the crowd. I don't know how you just forget that you have your badge front and center for everybody to see. And that's what I'm getting at, Gypsy Angel, is the marshals have power. So I feel like whenever you see a marshal, you should pay attention. So, yeah, it looks exactly like a marshal badge. Right. That's what I was thinking too, Smick. Like, why even have it on? I mean, you are in plain clothes. I don't know if I actually don't even know if I've ever seen somebody wear it like clipped onto their shirt. Usually most times you'll see like the kind of the dog tag style necklace with it hanging down, or it's on their belt line. You guys are hilarious. You guys are hilarious. Now, I put this together earlier today. I did post it on X. I posted it on YouTube. TikTok, of course, said it violates their guidelines, which is, again, remarkable because how does TikTok even know that this is a weapon that just looks like a piece of wood, right? But nope, they were on it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. There was a company that had one of their employees. I don't know what this company does. They clearly must do something with firearms, but they found an employee. He was about 72 inches tall and he weighed 140 pounds. Looks similar to the build of Robinson. And they detached this, and he actually has like the long part of the gun tucked down in his pants. And he's got the scope on this side. Now they do clearly state it's up for debate if it was in the backpack or not, but their point that they're trying to make is how they walk. And I will play this for y'all. I think it's compelling, at least, right? I think that it's that would make sense. You know, I'm going to play that one more time, and it would make sense. Now, I want you to watch the video camera from like the ring footage or whatever. His knee is flexing. Okay, his knee is flexing. But what's interesting is if you were to have that gun kind of come up here, your hip can't flex, right? Your hip can't flex. So that's what really caught my attention is his knee can flex, but his hip's not able to. That would cause a limp. Sorry for the music, guys. See, his knee's flexing. So now, yes, I did see the photos of Tyler at Dairy Queen, and I have a couple of comments about that. And if you guys have any, please put them in the chat. I'll put them up on the screen. There is something extremely off about that. If that's at 6:38 p.m., you got a guy who apparently, from if my memory serves me correctly, he's not like a super confrontational, violent person. Nobody thinks he's killed anybody before, and you're just like, I'm gonna go get a some Dairy Queen food. Dairy Queen in itself, let me just say that outside of ice cream, I feel like it's kind of weird to go to Dairy Queen. That's a personal opinion I have. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But I feel like if you're going to go to Dairy Queen to get food, you got to be like completely in the mood. And I would be shocked if somebody makes the argument of like, well, he knew he was going to get caught. He's going to go have one last meal. I feel like, although, yes, it is psychotic if this dude did go and assassinate a political figure, it's then almost multiplied in the psychoticness to go get Dairy Queen as your last meal. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And Like if it was just a giant blizzard, I could buy it. But that, so for people trying to say, oh, he was wanted to have his last meal again, whatever. Again, I'm not saying that that's a huge stretch. Like maybe it is his favorite food. Who knows? He doesn't seem to change. He's wearing the same stuff. Doesn't look shook up. And I actually don't know if there was different time zones. Yeah, and I don't know if George Webb is by chance watching this. I know he tunes in sometimes, but George, I was gonna send you an email, but then when I got banned, I didn't know if this X thing would work out. So if anybody does pop into one of George's lives, or if he's in here, let him know that I'm gonna email him, and we'll hop on a stream because I want to hear from him about this ROTC. Like I was tuning into a live, and it's not that I can't follow him, but when you pop into a live halfway and he's already been on for an hour, it's hard to kind of pick up anybody in the conversation where they're at. And I'll tell you what, George Webb has been on the ground grinding at the campus, rocking a backpack. He's getting after it out there, but he's brought up some really compelling points. And I think one of the things that really stuck with me is just how far that shot really is. And he said it himself. He's like, when I got here, he's like, I was surprised. That is a far shot. Seems obstructed. And ROTC is from my understanding and what I knew it in college was you could join ROTC in college. And then I believe you come out of college and you're already an officer. Don't quote me on that. Am I right in saying that? It gives you, I believe it's almost like maybe National Guard. I think you have to go to boot camp, and then I don't know if you have to go to certain weekends during the year, but I believe it's meant for people to go and then come out of college as an officer. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So ROTC's in high school too. Okay. Yeah, I'd never seen it at my high school. I only ever saw it at my college. Now, this is an extremely good video, and I'm going to oops. All right, we're gonna watch this video. This does a really good job. It's about 12 minutes long. Let me. This is AI telly, so I think this is all AI animation, but this does a phenomenal job at showing a 3D layout, and I'm going to go play this.
How did this ordinary guy become the world's deadliest assassin? How did he manage to escape? And how was he ultimately turned in by a close family friend in original 3D animations made from scratch? This is an exact mapping of everything that happened, simplified for better understanding. Here is Lake Utah, and just beyond it lies the West Campus. This is the Utah Valley campus. Charlie Kirk was shot in this area. To get the full picture, we need to look at how the suspect entered the building and how he escaped the scene. The suspect entered the building around 11:52 a.m. local time, moving through stairwells and across the roof to reach his sniper position. Surveillance footage confirmed his entry onto campus and his deliberate, unobstructed route inside the building. There is no public evidence or description suggesting he used a ladder to access the roof. Reports indicate he used interior stairwells and walkways instead of external ladders. The shooter was positioned less than 150 yards from Kirk, a distance well within the capability of a basic marksman. At around 12:22 to 12:23 p.m., the assassination occurred suddenly when a sharp gunshot rang out across the university courtyard. While speaking to the crowd, Charlie Kirk was struck in the neck. Blood quickly appeared as he instinctively clutched his wound and collapsed from his chair. Investigations confirmed the bullet was fired from roughly 200 yards away. Given the elevation of the shooter's position, he had a clear and unobstructed line of sight to the stage where Kirk was addressing the audience. The bullet's trajectory descended steeply and precisely through open space to strike Kirk in the neck, strongly indicating the use of a scoped firearm designed for long-range accuracy. After the shot, the shooter moved carefully from the sniper position to the edge of the building. There was incorrect information that he descended by ladder, but in reality, he dropped down from the ledge. In doing so, he left behind palm and shoe prints, which were crucial for forensic analysis. Though some describe it as a significant vertical descent due to the sloped embankment, he used his hands to grip the ledge and lowered himself as far as possible before dropping to the ground.
I don't
The
see the
bolt-action
gun
rifle,
in
identified
the real
as an
video.
older Mauser model, was still with him as he made his descent. Observers noted that he appeared practiced and did not discard the weapon at this stage, likely holding it in one hand or slinging it as he moved. After landing, he briefly limped, possibly from the impact, but quickly regained his composure and fled on foot into a wooded area adjacent to the university. Notably, palm prints and shoe prints left at the landing spot were documented.
I just got to say, too, you go back to right here, even though it's an animation, we don't see this. You don't see this at all. You see him drop like something over here in the corner and go. I don't see anything that, yeah. So I just want to point that out. I think what this, from my understanding, this is the official story. Okay, so this is a 3D animation using AI of what was told to the public. That is the timeline. So I just want to clarify that.
But quickly regained his composure and fled on foot into a wooded area adjacent to the university. Notably, palm prints and shoe prints left at the landing spot were documented by forensic investigators and proved vital to the case. He walked all the way to this location, blending seamlessly into the crowd. The suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting had a brief encounter with an excavator operator near a construction site behind Utah Valley University's Losey building. According to construction workers present shortly after the shooting, the suspect approached the construction area and asked the excavator operator if he could pass through. The operator informed him that pedestrians were not allowed on the site.
Did you guys know that? I don't know if I'm just having like a brain fart. I don't feel like I heard that too many times. If I did hear that he actually talked to a construction worker.
And stopped him there. The suspect reportedly responded calmly, saying he was trying to get home safely following the incident. This interaction took place before police and emergency responders arrived at the scene. The construction site, located near the wooded area where the sniper rifle was later recovered, was part of the suspect's escape route after he jumped off the rooftop and fled from the campus. Within the next few seconds, he ran across a grassy section and headed into the nearby wooded area, rifle still in hand, until he was beyond the immediate campus property. The rifle was ultimately found wrapped in a towel in the woods along the suspect's escape path, indicating he discarded it shortly after leaving campus grounds.
Which there's also, I don't remember if it was Candace or if it was somebody else that had said, well, the locals have said, and the rumblings around the locals that live near there said that that gun was actually found in a vacant house by a chicken coop. And that vacant house is owned by the university. Again, I can't confirm that with 100% certainty, but that was said, I believe, on Candace, and I've heard it repeated by a couple other people, but that's very interesting.
But how was he caught? It all came down to digital forensics teams analyzing thousands of security camera frames, matching Tyler Robinson's appearance, vehicle, and movements both on campus and off-site. He also left behind many digital footprints. When law enforcement released campus surveillance footage and still images of the suspect, his clothing, and the escaped vehicle to the public.
I'm sorry. I hate when people do this when I'm watching a live. I have to make this point. I don't believe that it took thousands of images to identify this guy. That video of somebody on the roof was mega viral with that dude like pointing to it recording. You also cannot tell me that the campus security wouldn't say, did this come from the rooftop? Let's check cameras that could see a rooftop. Oh, there's a guy sprinting across the roof right after the shot. Oh, and another video catches him as they turn their camera. They see someone running. This was within minutes. They had that. Or I don't know. At least it was uploaded to social media. You can't tell me they're not like scouring social media. So they all brag about on Fox News and CNN about Gideon and Palantir. Like that shit's got to be. There's AI programs that I feel like they're piloting. Maybe they don't all have them. I don't know if this site had them, but that's exactly what they're pushing for these programs to be able to do. They're scraping 24/7. So you can't tell me that it took thousands of frames and clips to find this dude when people with an iPhone were uploading it.
This led to over 7,000 tips flooding hotlines and social media platforms. Additionally, messages between Robinson and his roommate recovered through the messaging app revealed plans about disposing of the weapon, its location, and unique engravings on the bullet. One casing read, "Hey fascist, catch." A clear, direct political message targeting Kirk's conservative stance. But the key reason he was caught was because his own father made the difficult decision to sacrifice his own son and turn him into the police. It was released that Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old suspected shooter of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, was captured after an intense manhunt lasting about 33 hours following the shooting at Utah Valley University. The critical breakthrough came when Tyler Robinson's father, Matt Robinson, recognized his son in the photographs released by the FBI. Matt immediately reached out to Tyler and urged him to surrender peacefully. At first, Tyler refused and even threatened to harm himself rather than go to the authorities. Seeing this, Matt contacted a family friend, a youth pastor who also serves as a U.S. Marshals officer. With their support, Matt was able to convince Tyler to stay put and cooperate with law enforcement. Now let's go to the arrest details. On the afternoon of September 11, 2025, authorities orchestrated Robinson's peaceful surrender at a residence in Washington County, Utah, roughly 33 hours after the shooting. Robinson offered no resistance during his arrest. On September 12, 2025, Robinson was booked into Utah County Jail, charged with aggravated murder, felony use.
If, it's a big if Tyler Robinson's a patsy and his dad did his dad end up taking the money? Maybe not publicly. If they said no, I don't remember what I heard. It's like if he's a patsy and he's public facing conviction, like we've seen many times, or maybe we've had the quote conspiracy theory that there's been people that are the public fall guy patsy. I mean, $1 million to the father as hush money. No, I don't feel like, again, for just being people on the sidelines, we can speculate about that. How would we know? They put it into the narrative, and I'll leave it at that. Who knows?
A firearm and obstruction of justice. But hats off to father, where even law enforcement officials and public leaders publicly credited the family's intervention for enabling an orderly, nonviolent arrest. To better understand this assassination, it's important to note that a similar pattern was followed where the assassin also imported his own rifle and rented a post office box. On March 13, Klein's Sporting Goods of Chicago received a mail order for a World War II surplus Italian 1891 Carcano, and the model is a 1938 rifle. The order totaled $21.45, $19.95 for the rifle, plus $1.50 for postage and handling, and was placed by someone using the alias A. Hidell. And the rifle, which came equipped with a 4x scope and bore the serial number C2766, and was known for its effective range of around 500 meters with accurate shooting capabilities up to 800 meters, depending on the specific model and shooter proficiency. It holds 6 rounds in its internal magazine, loaded using a 6-round end block clip. Before the shooting, at 7:23 in the morning, Oswald arrives at the depository with Buell Wesley Frazier. When asked about a long paper-wrapped package, he dismisses it as just some curtains. At 8:45 a.m., President Kennedy addresses the Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce. By 10 a.m., with the weather clearing, Secret Service agent Wynn Lawson removes the bubble top from the presidential limousine, Kennedy's way of staying accessible. Kennedy has made it clear he wants to be open and accessible. He prefers riding without a bubble top and without agents crowding the back of the limo. At 11:50, several co-workers see Oswald eating lunch on the first floor of the deposit.
I think they just switched to make the comparisons to Kennedy with the Dropbox thing, and then they go through it. I mean, then they go back to talking about the plane, I'm pretty sure. Do you guys want to keep watching it or not? I feel like there's only a couple minutes left, so it did just switch to JFK. You guys aren't tripping on that. I think they're just making the comparison with the PO box and the gun.
Just as the motorcade begins its journey through Dallas from Love Field. At 11:55, the motorcade departs Love Field, delayed slightly by President Kennedy's interactions with supporters in Dealey Plaza. At 12:29 in the afternoon, the motorcade turned onto Houston Street and entered Dealey Plaza. 1 minute later, at 12:30, it made a sharp left onto Elm Street, a downward sloping road. As the limousine entered the plaza, Nellie Connolly turned to the president and said, "Mr. President, it can't make you believe there aren't some in Dallas who love and appreciate you, can they?" Kennedy replied, "No, they sure can't," his final words. According to the Warren Commission report, Lee Harvey Oswald, positioned on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, had a clear view of President Kennedy's motorcade as it traveled down Houston Street. Surprisingly, he didn't fire immediately. Instead, he waited until the presidential limousine turned onto Elm Street, where his line of sight was partially blocked by trees. The report states that Oswald fired 3 shots from a 6.5 millimeters Mannlicher Carcano rifle. The first shot reportedly ricocheted off a tree branch, landed near a railway bridge, and even struck a bystander. The second and third shots struck the president, with the third proving fatal. Footage analysis suggests Oswald fired all 3 shots in just 8.4 seconds. Here's where it gets controversial. The infamous single bullet theory claims the second shot passed through Kennedy's neck, exited his throat, hit Governor Connolly in the back, traveled through his ribs, took a 45-degree turn, pierced his wrist, and finally lodged in his thigh. Critics mockingly call this the magic bullet theory, arguing the bullet's path, zigzagging through 2 men and 7 layers of clothing, defies basic physics. The third shot struck Kennedy in the head, blowing out the right front of the skull. This horrific moment was captured by Abraham Zapruder, a Dallas dressmaker filming the motorcade at the time. But here's the twist. Multiple witnesses reported seeing a puff of smoke near a grassy knoll by a white picket fence, just feet from where Zapruder stood. This detail fueled conspiracy theories about a second gunman and even a possible 4th shot, contradicting the official narrative.
Imagine that.
12:45 p.m. Oswald boards a bus 7 blocks from the Texas School Book Depository, though it's barely moving due to heavy traffic in Dealey Plaza. Shortly after, he disembarks and hails a cab driven by William H. Whaley. The cab takes him to his boarding house, where he changes clothes and
this guy kind of lost me with the AI thing. I thought it was going to go back to where Tyler Robinson apparently got on the plane. So my bad on that. But nonetheless, yeah, that is definitely the NPC version of the events that they are saying Tyler Robinson did. I have huge concerns in general, just because we did see that whole magic bullet theory. I mean, that still holds weight today. I mean, I'm not trying to put my mom on blast, but like she talked about that magic bullet thing like it was gospel. That's the magic bullet theory. There's just the odds of when something gets that much attention on a person like the president, and then weird shit happens. There's no coincidence ever. And the magic bullet is a perfect example. There was I'm going to try to find this clip here quick, because I think this is perfectly summing it up of what we are witnessing today. And oops, let me just pull this up. Give me 1 second. All right. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Tim Dillon. Love him or hate him, I think he makes a really good point here. And obviously he's a comedian. So
my point is this. If we had TikTok during the Iraq War, kids would have been going nuts. You know, people were flipped out during the Iraq War, and they were only watching that heavily edited cable news. We had the internet, but you weren't, you know, there were documentaries made, but you weren't getting that live, up to the minute, live feed of what was going on in the world, right?
He makes a
now
good point about propaganda.
Confronted with every horror. So there is no more news. Here's my point. This is the point. There's always a point. Actually, there is. There's no more news. The news doesn't exist. The news doesn't really exist anymore. Everything is pretty accessible now. You can watch the speeches being given by a lot of the people that are making news. You can watch a war zone on your phone Does it look like they're avoiding civilian casualties? You know what I mean? All of this is very accessible to you, and you can see it and go, huh, there is no news. Doesn't really matter what Barry Weiss does with the CBS. Doesn't really matter. These institutions are done. We are getting it direct from the source now.
Exactly.
We're getting it directly from the regions of the world that it is happening. That doesn't mean we're not subject to misinformation and AI and eventually deep fakes and all of that. Obviously, we are. But you have more information now, raw information, in your hand than you've ever had before. Children that are growing up right now are never going to go back to watching the CBS evening news.
Nope.
They're never going to go back to watching the CBS evening news. God bless the Ellisons and Paramount and whoever. It's just a dying brand. It's a dinosaur. The medium is crumbling. They have lost the public. And more importantly, they've lost young people completely, because young people are realizing they're being propagandized at a level that older people gladly accepted. It was normal. It was fine. Older people were okay with being propagandized as long as they got a few things out of it. The young people are getting nothing out of it. Wait, you're lying to us and I can't own a house? I can barely have a job? I have to be forced into the gig economy? I get to deliver burritos? And I have to listen to this bullshit? And I have to pretend that this is all real? And I can't afford frozen yogurt with my girlfriend? And I have to go along with this horse shit? And I have nothing and no money for it? If you're doing something, you want to get something out of it. If you are going to delude yourself and believe the bullshit on the news, you have to get a little bit out of it. And what Americans got for many years was a patch of dirt, a little driveway, and a chance. They don't have any of that anymore. We've taken that all away from them. We've pushed them into a gig economy. We've pushed them into the hellscape of rent that goes up every single year. And the propaganda is actually getting worse. It's getting more disconnected from reality, more Orwellian. We're asking them to believe crazier and crazier things and taking away the little bit that most people had. People don't want to be billionaires. People want a house, a family, a little retirement plan, some money in the bank if there's an emergency. They want health care. They want some kind of steady job. They want a community with people that share their values. They're getting none of that right now. They're getting none of that. They're getting Kris Jenner's third head. Kris Jenner has a third head. And everybody's excited by it. People will tell you, the people that don't have any of those things will tell you that they like Kris Jenner's new head, or they're excited that Taylor Swift, a billionaire, is going to marry Travis Kelce, the man who was birthed by Pfizer. And people have to live vicariously now through that. Why are the kids turning on the engines of propaganda? Number one, they're too smart. The technology is there. They know they're being lied to. Here's number two. You're taking all of the things away from them that this entire system was supposedly, purportedly set up to help them achieve. So if I'm a member of the ruling class, I'm going, what are we doing here? What exactly is happening? We're asking these people to believe this bullshit that Jeffrey Epstein is just like a weirdo rich guy. No one else did anything wrong. We don't have any of the files and the videos aren't real. It's actually nothing. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. He never had any relationship with our intelligence agency or another intelligence agency. He had no relationships with anybody. Nobody did anything. He was just a weird rich guy. Don't worry about it. We're asking people to believe all of this stuff and telling them, and the reward for that, okay, is to deliver a Caesar salad to someone. That's the reward. Your job now is to deliver a Caesar salad. Not that it would have been right to buy the bullshit anyway. even if you had the things. But I'm just telling you how the country ran for 100 years. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not saying it was morally correct to go, I'll take the house and the car and you fucking kill everybody. I'm telling you that's how it worked. That's how the country ran forever. You shut your mouth and you go, I don't want to get into that. I don't know. Yeah, it's a government lab. Kids are disappearing. Shut up. Eat your lasagna. Your mother made lasagna. That's the way it worked. Now everybody's, in a broken home trying to get some job as a personal assistant, for some woman who's on her third head. So you're scrounging around your car to find change to get Del Taco, and you're getting a call from a woman who's bandaged up because she has her third head, and she's asking you to go to the pharmacy for her and get the injection she needs to inject into her face so that it doesn't fall off. And then you're going on your phone and all you hear is, help me, I'm being burned. My family is being burned. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you burning me? Do you see how it's an unsustainable model?
Yes.
Do you see that? Do you understand that? Am I completely, you know what's interesting about these Trader Joe's bagels? They look better than you think they would. They actually aren't. 9/11. Not good.
Jesus Christ.
I'm an alcoholic unless I would try the wine.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, you guys get the whole point on that. It's that yes, he's a comedian, and the delivery of that was very like comedian-esque. He makes a good point. I have a question for everybody. When's the last time that you heard people, and at least, so I'm 31. I can remember kids in middle school, high school, like maybe early high school years. Dude, when's the last time you heard somebody say, like, I want to be a millionaire? Like, how weird is that? Like, how often do you actually hear people talk about financial goals that are above and beyond what for so many years was just the basics? Like he said, a patch of dirt, little driveway, you got a house, and you have a chance. I'm not saying that there's not a chance, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be motivated to bust your ass and go out and work and try and all that stuff. Obviously, don't give up. We cannot give up. But he makes a valid point, and my question then is, when's the last time you ever heard somebody feel like they could actually reach becoming a millionaire over the last decade? At least maybe even the last 15, maybe that's a little long, 8 to 10 years, I would say. You go on Zillow, you look at houses, and it's like that house, the last time that it was sold in 2003, it sold for $119,000. Oh, it's on the market for $910,000. Give me a break. That's a terrible investment, and it's stupid. It's stupid because if you're the one that gets caught with their pants down after buying it, you're effed. Now, that, again, was just summing up my point about the propaganda, and we are being asked to believe crazier and crazier shit. Everybody, all over the world, crazier and crazier shit. And it is exactly this. People just want to live comfortably. I think we also want to live peacefully. We have fear and constant fear-mongering getting shoved down our throats every time you open an app, depending on what your algorithm says you should see. And on September 10th, it said, you should see Charlie Kirk getting sniped in the neck and bleeding out, even if you're 13 years old. But I can't show a picture of some guy laying on a roof. So see, they're pushing to see how far they can get away with what they can get away with, rather. And it's gross. It's disgusting. It needs to come to an end. And that will lead me into,
please retrieve your nearest tinfoil hat. Place that firmly on your head.
And kind of going right on in with that, I don't know how many people are familiar with HARP, but if you haven't looked into it, you should look into it. It's real. The technology exists. They may lie about it publicly. There are documents that have been released that do confirm this. And essentially, it's a extremely high-powered antenna that can heat tiny patches of the ionosphere. Okay, so it's a sky heater. That's not fiction. This exists. And this all began with the DoD and Air Force funding that later shifted to university stewardship. I've said for how long that all of the receipts go down and all the nefarious activity go down in research grants. They are disguised as research grants. And they promote it under some dual use optic. It's like half military, half academia. But in the 80s and 90s, there were patents that Eastland and Arco had filed. And what it does and what it says on paper, meaning the intent of the patent on the paper that it was submitted on, says it's meant for communication disruption and potential environmental effects. The quote conspiracy theorists, the crazy people, are saying that, well, that can probably nudge jet streams and pressure ridges, and you could probably nudge it enough that would aim a hurricane in a different direction, perhaps. Go look into where hurricanes have hit in Florida and where they haven't hit. And there is proof of concept on small scales you can go watch. And I believe that if they can do it on a small scale, they absolutely can do it on a large scale and manipulate the weather. But ultimately, they say that these are they're just weird satellites. They're just stationary cells. Don't look any further than that. We're not heating up the ionosphere to aim a hurricane at a certain spot. We would never manipulate the weather, and a direct energy weapon can do the same thing. I just saw a comment fly by about that. But either way, patents and real budgets and real studies were conducted with this. So it's not a conspiracy. It does exist. And look at the technology back in the day when they were studying it. So that, my friends, was a great first stream here on X. If this is your first time in the Hive, I go live every weeknight at 7 p.m. Central. Tomorrow, and pretty much every Saturday, unless I'm out of town, I will be live at 10 a.m. and then on Sunday evening, 7 p.m. as well. So 7 p.m. every night, except for Saturdays, it'll be 10 a.m. I typically do stream on YouTube. Unfortunately, the algorithm shut me down for posting this picture, which is a joke. And when that restriction gets lifted, I'll be cross streaming. So I'm not going anywhere. I will be on X. So I hope that there were some people that are tuning in for the first time. I'm excited about being able to stream on X. A little bit overdue with probably not having multiple platforms, but I hope you all enjoyed that. If this was your first time, again, as a reminder, this is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to think past the headlines. So if you're easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, probably won't be the stream for you. But if you like to look into things and see through the mainstream media BS, you have found your people and you're amongst friends. And with that, Hive, I hope everybody has a fun and safe Friday night. Make sure that you're not drinking and driving. Get an Uber. There's no excuse. It's on your phone. Open up the app. Call somebody if you need a ride home. And I will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. Cheers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.